Today we are going to solve O-level paper. It's variant 1-1, October, November 2025. Let's start with the first question. Okay, so what they are saying in first question is an object X is placed against a ruler, and there they are showing you in the diagram. This ruler is placed against another ruler to measure the end correction. Okay, so this question is basically related to zero error. Okay, as I have stated in my last video as well, I'm not going to only discuss the correct option. I will also discuss why the other options are incorrect. Okay, and from where this question is coming from. So once you solve this paper will help you to solve next papers, right? So to make most of it, I will try to discuss all the available options. So if you see, we can correctly take the reading from this point to this point. So this object is ending at this point. So this is from this point to this point. This is clearly 1.1 centimeter. But what is this thing? We don't know about this thing. So from this thing, we have to take the measurement from there. So this is the portion here. And on the scale, if you see this thing is equals to, this one division is 0.1, this is 0. So this is 0.2. So this thing is 0.2. So total is 0.2 centimeter plus 1.1 centimeter. That will give you 1.3 centimeter. That is C. So this method is called zero error correction. To correct any faulty apparatus, what you will do, you will always compare that apparatus with some standard measuring tool. Okay. So let's move forward. Quantities can be described as scalar or vector, which row shows scalar quantities and the vector quantity. That you have to memorize. I'm going to check the first column. Scalar quantities. Displacement is not scalar. Displacement is not scalar. Force and weight are not scalar. Distance, mass, temperature, they are scalar. So we are left with only one option. Displacement, force, weight are scalar. So option D is correct. Moving forward, question 3. What they're asking, the diagram shows the speed time graph for two objects moving with uniform acceleration. And these are the graphs you have. A student uses the graph to make two conclusions. First is the distance traveled by the object P is 26 meter less than the distance traveled by object Q. So let's call the distance traveled by object P is dP. That is equals to distance traveled by object Q minus 26. So keep in mind, it is 26 meter less. It's not 26 times. If it says times, then you have to multiply. In this case, you have to minus. And for acceleration, it is saying the acceleration of the object P, let's call it AP, is equals to 0.5 less than the acceleration of. So acceleration of Q is 0.50 less. Okay, so let's check this from the data. So to verify the area, you have to find the area in the graph, because peak time graph area will give you the distance. So I can say distance covered by the P will be equals to, this is the triangle. So 1/2 base into height. Base is 4, height is 6. 4 into 6, it will give you 12 meter. And when I check the distance for this thing, this will give me by Q is equals to 1/2 base into height. Base is 5, height is 10. 5 into 10, that will give you 25 meter. So if you compare, if I dq minus 26, if I do this thing, this is not going to be equals to 12 because dq is 25. So this thing is wrong. Okay, now let's check this second claim. To find acceleration, you have to find the slope. How we can find the slope? Slope is rise over run. I'm going to find the slope for P. So slope of P is rise. This is the y2 minus y1. You can say y2 minus y1. So this is the rise. Okay. As it is starting from 0, so you don't have to do all the calculation. You just simply can write 6 over 4. That will give you 1.5. And when finding the acceleration for Q, that will be equals to 10 over 5. 10 over 5. That will give you 2. Now, if I do AQ minus 0.5 as it was the condition here, it will give me 2 minus 0.5, that is equals to 1.5. That is equals to AP. So that is correct. Okay, so second claim, this is correct. Okay. In the question 4, what they're asking, which speed time graph represent the motion of railway train making a short stop at a station? So this is important. Short stop. Short stop mean speed should be equals to 0. It should be at rest. Okay. Their speed is not at 0. Speed is not at 0. Their speed is at 0. So this is correct. This is also incorrect. Okay. Speed is not 0 in any of the A, B, and D case. Okay. Question 5. So the person is doing the push-ups. Okay. The diagram shows an athlete doing press-ups on a floor. Okay. So how many press-ups you can do? You can tell me in the comments. Okay. So we can compare how many I can do and how many you can do. The athlete is using both hands. The area of contact of each hand with the floor is S. Okay, so area of each hand is S. How many hands we have? Okay, we have two hands. So area will be for the two hands, the area will be double. Okay, let's move forward. The athlete toes act as a pivot point. So this is the pivot point. Okay, this is the pivot. Okay, the athlete weight is W, acts at the point that they are showing on the diagram. The distance between his toes and the point X is 3/4 of the distance between the toes and the shoulder. Okay, so let's take the distance between the toes and this thing is basically, let's call this L. And the distance between this point and this is 3/4. So it is 3/4 of L. Okay, that they have given us. What is the pressure exerted on the palm of each of the athlete's hand? Each hand. Okay. So first we need to find the pressure. So pressure, we know the relation is force divided by area. So for each hand, the area will be S, F/S. Which force you need? You need this force that is exerted here. So this is basically the press up. So it is the earth is pressing this person up. So the force is acting like this. And you have the pivot point. So the pivot point is a hint that you have to use the moment concept. So if you see, this weight is acting downward and this is the pivot point. So this will move this person like in this direction. You always have to bend your arrow towards the pivot point nearest side. Okay. So this is the clockwise movement it will produce. Let me write it down. This is this is anti-clockwise, huh? Anti-clockwise movement. And this is the arrow, you have to bend it nearest side of the pivot point, this side. So it will be clockwise movement. So as it is balanced, so clockwise movement should be equals to anti-clockwise movement, right? So I can say the clockwise movement should be equals to anti-clockwise movement. So clockwise movement, if you see the force acting here is F. The distance from the pivot, this is the pivot, this is the force, this is the distance. The distance is L, is equals to the anti-clockwise movement. Anti-clockwise movement force acting at this point. So you will consider this distance, that is 3/4L. So it is W into 3/4L. I'm interested in this F. Acha. This L will be cancelled out with this L and F will be equals to 3/4W. Now there is a catch. This force is acting on both the hands. This force is for both hands. So on one hand, on each hand, it will be half of this thing. So that will be F/2. Okay. Let's name it differently. I can call this thing, let's do it that way. So it is 3W by 4. This will be 3W by 8. So this is the force on each hand. This is also the force for each hand because we are finding pressure for each hand on one hand. Okay, so you have to put this value. So it will be 3W divided by 8 and S is already there. So it is option. Which option is correct? It's option B that is correct. Okay. I hope you have understood this concept. Okay, this last part was tricky. Most students miss that point. Question 6. A parachutist falls towards the ground at a constant speed with a full open parachute. This statement is correct. Okay, so it's moving with a constant speed. It's mean this constant speed is showing terminal velocity concept. Terminal velocity concept, if you remember, if this is the parachute, this is the person, what will happen? The weight of the object will be exactly balanced by the air resistance force. They will be equal. Okay, so in option A, there are no forces acting on the object. That is false because there are forces. The upward force in the parachute is equal to the weight. Yes, that is correct. C is wrong, D is also wrong, as I have stated. Question 7. A student measure the density of the irregular shaped stone. Which atom of equipment are needed? So first beta, you always have to check what you have to find. You have to find density. Let's write it down here, density. What is the relation for density? For density, you need mass, you need volume. Okay, for mass, what you need? You need balance for any type of mass. But the volume is, which volume? This is irregular shape object. So for irregular shape object, you need measuring cylinder. If it is a regular shape object, then you use meter rule. So it's option. Which option is correct? Option A is correct. A balance and a measuring cylinder. Okay. Question 8. The table shows how the extension of a spring varies with load. Between which two load is the limit of proportionality? We know the load should be proportional to extension. Okay. So if you see, let's do this thing. From here to here, the change is 2. Here to here, change is 3. From this point to this point, or let me do it like this. This point to this point changes 2. This point to this point changes again 2. And again, here changes 2. Here change, sorry, this changes 3. This is also 3, right? From this to this, the change is 2. From this to this, changes 3. So they are moving proportionally. Every change of 2 Newton causing a change of 3 Newton in the so forth. Here is again 2 and here is again 3. Let's move forward. Here is again 2, but here is change of 5. So this is the point where proportionality is not holding. Okay. So it is between 10 and 12. Okay. Moving forward, question 9. If you need the PDF of this file, the solved paper, you can text me. I will share the number on the screen or in the description. Okay. So you can get the paper, solved paper from there. A man stands at rest on the surface of the earth. The weight of the man is the gravitational force that acts on him. According to the Newton's third law, the weight of the object in the one force. Okay, so this is a very famous action reaction. Let's suppose this is the earth. This is the earth. There is a person. Okay, it's the same thing. Like let's suppose if there is an object A, there is an object B. If A apply force on B, the B apply force on A. The forces should be in opposite direction. So if Earth is applying a force on the person downward, this is let's suppose A, the Earth is let's suppose B. If B is applying a force on A downward, the A will apply a force on B upward. So it is force upward on the Earth. Okay, this is somehow difficult to visualize, right? Let's suppose if you are falling, if you are a paratrooper and you are falling towards the earth, why you are falling? Because the gravity is pulling you toward itself because of the weight. So as per the Newton's third law, the same amount of force you are exerting on the earth as well. But it comes to our mind, we are moving down, but earth is not moving upward. Earth is not coming up. Why? Because Earth is so heavy. That force is not enough to move the Earth. The force that is enough to move you downward is not enough to move the Earth upward. That is a basic concept, okay? But the forces are equal. The mass makes the difference. Okay. Let's move forward. Question 10. The pressure and the volume of a sample of gas at a constant temperature are measured and plotted on a graph. What you have to do, the pressure is decreased to 12.5 kilopascal. What is the new volume of the sample of gas? Okay, we just have these values from the graph and we have this one value. So you have to keep in mind this relation that P1 V1 is equals to P2 V2. Any two values, any two quantities inversely proportional to each other, their product will remain always constant. Okay, so this is the basic concept behind it. So I can say this as P1, I can say this as V1, and I can call this P2. I have to find V2. So let's do this. So P1 is 30 kilopascals, so 13, there's a kilo, okay, 3. And volume is 5, and there is a power as well. Okay, don't miss this part. 10 power minus 5. That is equals to, let me write it down here. That is equals to P2 is 12.5 kilopascal into V2. So V2 is simply, this kilo will cancel out here. You can cancel out here. Okay, just to simplify. So V2 is equals to 30 into 5 into 10 power minus 5 divided by 12.5. Okay, so when you do this, you get 1.2 10 raised to power minus 4. Okay, it's option A that is correct. Moving forward, question 11. The diagram shows a solid metal block. Which equation is used to calculate the density? We know the density is mass over volume. We have done this. Okay, so question 12. A student balance a non-uniform object on a pivot. To do this, a weight is suspended near the left hand end of the object. Okay, to balance this object on this pivot, we need the weight here. Where is the center of the gravity? It's mean if to balance you need weight, it means center of gravity is not at this point. C is not the option clearly. Why? Because if C is the center of gravity, you don't need this weight then. Okay. And if you see this is balanced, it means center of gravity is not at A and B, because if the weight is acting here, there is another weight, it will produce a movement and it will rotate. There is nothing to balance this thing. So it's mean this weight is producing anti-clockwise movement. The weight should be here that can produce a clockwise movement. So D is the right option, right? Very simple. Question 13. 7 energy sources are listed. How many of these energy sources are renewable energy sources? Okay. Fossil fuel is not renewable. Hydroelectric is, they use the water in the dams. Solar is, you use the light, it can be reproduced. Nuclear is not renewable. Okay, this is common mistake. Geothermal is renewable. You're not using anything. You just use the heat from the core of the earth and it's not going to be run out, right? Wind is renewable, tides are renewable. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's option C that is correct. Moving forward, question 14. A student heats a substance in which the particles are in fixed position and vibrate. After a short period of heating, the particles start to flow past each other, but the forces between the particles remain strong. What has happened to the substance? Okay, they start flow past. So this flow word is important. What flows? Fluids. And fluid, how the solid will change into fluid when it melts. So it's option D is correct. Okay. So question 15, what we have in it. Okay. A student investigate how changing the temperature of gas affects the volume of the gas. The gas is kept at a constant pressure. This is important. This is temperature and volume. Which graph shows the relation between the temperature and the volume? What you need to know, temperature is directly proportional to volume. At which condition? When pressure is constant. Okay. And if you see, the only directly proportional graph is A. Okay. And when the temperature increases, the volume will also increase. And it should not be zero. Volume will not be zero because there are some gases there, right? They are expanding. If you have to keep the pressure constant. Okay. Next part, a sample of solid melts and become liquid. Which statement about the sample during the process of melting is correct? Okay. So first part is its temperature changes from a negative to positive. No. In change of state, no temperature change. Its temperature is constant. Yes. Whenever state is changing, temperature remain constant. In question 17, four metal cans are identical except for the color and the texture. Okay. Color is different, texture is different. 100 centimeter cube of water at 70 degrees Celsius poured into each can, which can cools the most rapidly. We know the good conductors are the good absorbers are the good emitters. So black is a good absorber, good emitter, and dull surface, or you can say rough surface, is a good absorber and good emitter. So it should be black and rough. Okay, it's option A, that is correct. Moving forward, question 18. The sentences describe sound waves. Three words have been omitted. Okay, sound waves are longitudinal wave that consist of region of high pressure called compression. The one should be compression. Okay, and the region of lower pressure called to two should be rarefaction. So we have to choose between A and B. An echo occur when a sound wave is three. Three should be reflection. Okay, the sound wave should bounce back. A ray of light strikes a plane mirror at an angle of this. The angle of incidence is then increased by 5. So I was 20 and it is increased by 5 degrees. Now it is 25. Now I is 25. What is the new angle between the incident ray and the reflected ray? Reflected ray. So let's suppose this is a plane mirror. This light is coming like this. It is this, you have to draw the normal. This is 25 degree. This is going that way. This should also be 25 degree by the law of reflection. They're asking you this angle. So this will be 50. 25 plus 25. It's option D. Moving forward, question 20. The following list show colors of the spectrum, and which list show these colors in order of increasing frequency? It's option D, that is correct. You have to memorize this pattern. Okay. Question 21. An object O is placed near the thin converging lens. The diagram shows three rays of light from the object passing through the lens. Which row describes the image formed, nature of the image, and gives the position of the principal focus? Okay. First thing, if you see, the rays are going through the lens and they are actually meeting. So it is the real image. So you have to choose between A and B. Okay. Secondly, we know the rule. Whenever this parallel ray of light passes through the lens and where it crosses the principal axis, that point is focal point. So this point is focal point. And there was another rule. The ray that is moving like this and then moving parallel, from where it is cutting the principal axis, this is also focal. This is also focal. This is also focal. But we can't choose P because this thing is wrong. It's not virtual, it's real. So it's option A, that is correct. Okay. Question 22. In which diagram is the path of the ray not correct? Wrong, you have to choose. If you see A, light is moving from water to air. If I draw the normal here, it is bending away from the normal. Yes, it's moving in less dense medium and moving away. Okay. Here the light is moving into the glass and its angle is 90 degree. So it will not bend. Okay, sounds good. It will go there. Its total internal reflection is happening and it will then again not bend because the angle is 90. It is moving parallel to the normal. Okay, it's also correct. And C, it is moving parallel to the normal. It will go straight, then it will striking there. If I draw the normal here, the normal will be like this and it is bending away from the normal again. It is also correct. Okay. But if you see D, it's moving like this The angle is 90 degree, but it's bending. That is incorrect. If the angle of incidence is 90 degree, it should move straight through it. And that is incorrect here as well. The light striking the boundary after reflection, it's moving parallel to the normal. This is not possible. So option D is incorrect by all means. Okay. Moving forward, question 23. A ray of light travels from X to Y along the optical fiber. The angle of incidence is at Y is greater than critical angle. So when the angle of incidence is greater than, there is a total internal reflection. This reflection is very important. This means light will bounce back. It will go back into the boundary. Which direction does the ray of light travel after reaching? So it should bounce back. A and B are not the option. You have to choose between C and D. So as it is a reflection case, you have to draw normal here. This is the angle of incidence. The angle of reflection should also be equal. This is very small. It's not equal. This is almost equal. So it's option C that is correct. Angle of incidence must be equals to angle of reflection for the law of reflection. Okay. Question 24. A firework is launched vertically from the ground. When the firework reach a height of 360 meters, okay, this much height, the firework explode producing colored light, okay. A student on the ground below the firework incorrectly measure the time between the seeing the colored light and hearing the explosion. The student obtain a value of 1.8. This is the time, this is the distance. You have to find the speed. So let's suppose you are standing here and you are seeing the fireworks here, lights suppose these are the different colors produced by it, right? So when there are fireworks happening, the moment they're happening, you can see them because light travels very fast. But the sound will take time to reach you. How much distance it is covering? 360 meters. Okay. So, okay, we should draw it like they are telling you the height. So let me draw them at this point. This will be more conceptually correct. So they are taking, this is 360 meters. How much time it is? This is the distance. The time is 1.8 second that he has calculated. We have to tell the speed. So speed, we know it is distance over time. Distance is 360. Time is 1.8. When you do the calculation, we will get 200. It's option A that is correct. Question 25. A loudspeaker produces a sound wave of frequency 50 hertz. The amplitude of the sound wave is increased. What he heard? So amplitude you have to keep in mind directly proportional to loudness. And frequency is directly proportional to pitch. As the amplitude is increasing, the sound will be louder, but frequency remain the same, so pitch remain the same. So it's option B, a loud sound of the same pitch. Okay. So in the next question, a bar magnet is placed on a sheet of paper. The diagram shows the field line due to the magnets. A soft iron bar is placed on the paper on the rectangular mark XZ here. It is placed here. The soft iron bar become an induced magnet. Now this is induced magnet. What is the magnetic pole of the end of the soft iron bar? So see, when it is placed here, the magnetic field line also pass through it like this. Okay, so let's analyze this. If you keep it there, you know, if I draw the magnet, wherever the north pole is, magnetic field come out, and wherever the south pole is, magnetic field go in. So this will be south, this will be north. So this is W and this is Z. So W is N and Z is S. So it's option B that is correct. Moving forward, question 27. Which material is an electrical conductor at room temperature? Electrical conductor, aluminum. Metals are the good conductor, right? These all are non-metals. Question 28. A student investigate electrostatic charge using a balloon and a cloth. The balloon and the cloth are initially uncharged. Okay. The student rubs the balloon with the cloth. The balloon gains a negative charge of magnitude Q on it. The cloth becomes charged and force acts between the balloon and the cloth. Which row correctly describe the magnitude and sign of the charge on the cloth and the type of the force between the balloon and the cloth? Okay. The balloon is gaining the negative charge. It's mean it will balloon gain electrons. Okay. And the other thing that will lose the electron and the cloth become charged and force act between. Then the cloth will become positively charged and the force will be attracted. Simply. So 28 option is A. Magnitude of charge on both is equals to Q. Sign of charge on cloth will be positive. Type of attraction, force is attraction. Okay. Question 29. A student connects four circuits using two identical cells, two identical resistors and a motor. In which circuit does the coil of the motor rotate fast? Okay, so rotation of coil is proportional to current. It depends on the current. Okay. So for more current is proportional to inversely proportional to R total. So we need less total resistance. That happens in parallel. So this is incorrect. This is incorrect. You have to choose between B and D. Now look at the concept of cells. So current is directly proportional to voltage. You need more voltage. So cells should be in series, because if let's suppose this is V1, this is V2, they will give you total voltage V1 plus V2. And if this is voltage V1, this will also be V1. They will have the same voltage. Their total impact will not be changed. Whatever the greater voltage is, let's suppose if one is greater, one is less, you will get only one of the voltage from them. Okay, they will not be added up. So there is a less voltage and there will be a maximum. So there is a maximum voltage and a minimum resistance. So there will be a maximum I that will pass through it. So it's option B that is correct. Okay, I hope you understand this. Or you can replay this question again and watch it. Question 30. The diagram shows a lightning strike, charge flow between the cloud and the object on the ground. They are giving you this diagram. During the lightning strike, there is a current of this much between the cloud and the house for this much time. This is the current and this is the time beta. This is very common mistake. Students think it like meter. It's not meter per second. It is millisecond. Okay, 52 10 power minus 3 second. You have to convert this thing as well. You have to find charge. Okay, we know I is equals to Q over T. So Q is equals to I into T. Just put the values. I is 2.8 into 10 raised to power 4 and T is 52 into 10 raised to power minus 3. So that will give you 1456. That is rounded off to 1500. It's option A that is correct. Question 31. Two current carrying conductors are placed next to each other. The current in the conductor is in the same direction. Okay, which statement about the forces experienced by the conductor is correct? Okay, so how the forces will act. First, you need to understand how the magnetic field will be. So if this is a Y, current is passing through it, the magnetic field will be defined by right hand thumb rule. You have to stretch your thumb in the direction of current. The current finger will show you the direction of magnetic field. So they look like this. Okay. So if you see, the magnetic field here will be like this. I'm showing the dotted line so it can show you it's moving from behind. And for this, the second, it will also be like this. And then, so if you see this portion, let me draw it. This is the arrow here. And if I zoom in into this portion, if you see here, they are moving like this, and this thing is moving like upward. So they both are in opposite direction here. So these fields cancel each other somehow, and there will be a weak field, and there will be a strong field on sides on this side as well. Comparatively strong field. So you have to keep in mind force acts from strong towards weak field. So force will act like this, and from here it this. So they will be attracted toward each other. Okay, so this is the whole concept. So you can see the option now. It is option D that is correct. The forces are in the opposite direction, and the conductors are forced towards each other. Yes. Question 32. Which component is not needed to make a simple DC motor work? So what you don't need for the DC, you need the battery, you need the brushes, you don't need the diode. Okay. Question 33. Which component is used in electrical circuit to detect change in temperature? We need thermistor. This is a symbol for thermistor. Question 34. A kettle of power this. You have the power that is 2 kilowatt. It's mean 2 power 3 watt. And this is the voltage. What is the appropriate rating for the fuse? So rating depends on current. First, that you need to know. So secondly, you need to know the formula. P is equals to VI. I is equals to P by V. So P is 2 into 10 raised to power 3 and V is 230. So that will give you, do the calculation, 8.69 ampere. So this is the required current, that current you need. So the fuse should be slightly higher than this. So this is almost 9. So higher than this is not the value. This is the appropriate value. 20 will not be a value because 20 is too high. It will be dangerous. Even if you double the current, if current exceeds the required value, the fuse will not melt and the current will keep coming and coming. Okay. Okay. Question 35. A student uses a simple iron core transformer. The primary coil has this much turn, this is NP. The secondary coil have this much turn, this is NS. The input voltage is this is VP. You have to find the output voltage, that is called VS. We know the formula VS, the ratio of voltages will be equals to ratio of turns. So you can write as VS is equals to NS over NP into VP. So NS over NP, NS is 200, NP is 250, multiply by VP, VP is 12. So when you do the calculation, you will get 9.6 watts. It's option C. Question 36, 4 statements about an atoms are listed. The atom has a nucleus surrounded by positively charged electrons. That is wrong. Most of the atom is empty space. Yes. The nucleus is positively charged. Yes. The nucleus is very large compared to the rest of the atom. No. So option 1 and 2 are correct. Okay. So it's, sorry, 2 and 3 are correct. C. Questions 37. A smoke alarm contains a radiative source S. The useful emission from S are blocked by a few centimeters of air. What is the useful radioactive radiation emitted by S? It's very easy. First, you need to know for the smoke detection, we use alpha. Secondly, alpha have very less penetrating ability. So by all means, this is alpha, option B. Question 38. The planet in the solar system orbit is the sun. Which statement is correct? First is there is a force on each planet away from the sun. No. Sun is pulling the planet toward itself, right? Okay. There is a force on each planet in the direction in which it travels. No. They're moving in a circle. There is a force on each planet opposite to the direction in which it travels. No. There is a force on each planet towards the sun. Yes. Whenever the object is moving in a circle, let's suppose this is the sun, this is a planet, the force should be always be toward the center of the circular path. Okay, this is the planet. The force will be always towards the center. Question 39, the star is a distance of 4.2 light years from the Earth. What is 4.2 light years in meters? So we know 1 light year that you have to memorize is equals to 9.5 10 raised to power 15. You should learn how we can drive this thing as well. Okay, so 4.2 light year will be equals to 4.2 into 9.5 10 raised to power 15. So that will give you 4.0 10 raised to power 16. It's option D that is correct. In question 40, what is a protostar? A cloud of gas that is collapsing and decreasing in temperature. No, protostar is not decreasing in temperature or collapsing. Protostar is the initial stage of the formation of actual stars before the main sequence, right? A cloud of gas that is collapsing and increasing in temperature. Yes. Okay, so it's option B. Okay, do like and subscribe the channel. And if you need the PDF file, you can text me, and see you with the next video.